The biggest myth in the running form topic is that everything needs to be fixed. I often get a lot of questions about running form. I'll get a lot of calls about people or from people trying to say, hey, like I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, run coaching, programming, all the things, normal stuff. Obviously, people want to get better at running. And one of the main things that they'll ask is, I really want somebody to check in on my form. It's very similar to when somebody starts in the weight room and they want help with their form. All normal things. Nobody wants to get hurt, blah, blah, blah. The thing with running form is it's both really simple and overly complex if you really want to dig deep into it. So in today's video, I am literally just going to talk about, I'm not going to focus just on that myth, but it is the biggest myth in the running form world, is that everything needs to be fixed and you're supposed to look like the pros. For example, I probably should have even started with that. You can look at some Africans, running at the top level, and I mean, it just looks gorgeous most of the time. But the thing is with all the years of coaching I've had and watching so many races, there are some, of course, anomalies on either end. Just overly amazing form, and then also just some people that just ironically are pretty darn fast, and their form is just hard to look at. There's a runner I saw that was when I was coaching in college. I was on another team. Eventually, he went pro. I think his PR in the marathon's 2:08. I know he's at least ran 2:08. I mean, his form is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Bless his heart. Not his problem. It's just the way that he was built. And I mean, watching him in track spikes too, which is the most extreme version of anything that's going down in the lower legs, just because its speed is the top priority there, and not are you working on your pronation levels or super? It's just you're wearing a spike to run fast, so that's all there is to it. But with that said, taking that first statement of everything needing to be fixed, of course, what I'm suggesting is that it doesn't need to be. But with that said, it also doesn't need to be ignored. So I'll get to that more in a minute. But next point is, not every running form problem is actually a problem. So there's a million examples I could give. At some point, I'll do some future videos of people running. But just because something doesn't look the way that you think it should, especially when you base it off of pros running, or something like, oh, hey, this person's feet are pronating. It's like, generally speaking, not ideal. Like mid-stride, it can really affect then what happens up at the shin, and then your shin angle can move. The knee joint, that might be what's causing knee pain. It might be what's causing knee knocking, where like if you ever seen somebody running and their knees just kind of like go almost like in a line as somebody's running. I mean, from an efficiency standpoint, yeah, we probably want to fix that. And when you're just generally training, potentially stability shoes could be what helps fix that. But we've gotten pretty good at somewhere in the mid to late 80s to like early 90s or something. We started beefing up shoes. Right now, the cushion, and then of course even like the super shoe stuff. I'm not going to get into that at all because I don't care about that right now. But the stability shoe versus neutral shoe thing became just a selling point. It's really just to sell shoes. Honestly, a lot of people don't like that, especially running shoe companies or people that work there. I used to work at 2 running stores. We just used to put a bunch of people that pronated into comfortable, those general orthotics, which honestly a lot of times felt good, but running in them I think feels terrible. But if you're like a nurse working on a hospital floor or something like that, oftentimes a good pair of running shoes with supportive insoles, or just good pair of running shoes, like fixed a lot of your issues. So I'm not going to go deep into that, but that can impact when we're talking about running form. But with that said, even like I alluded to earlier, even some pros have very unusual running form and stuff. And so it really comes down to the person and how efficient they are across the board. And you can sit there and point at certain things, and it might be worth checking into. The example I just gave, this person consistently has a certain injury, especially if it's one side, then you want to be looking into that more. And honestly, yes, checking your running form and trying to see, okay, is somebody overstriding, which is my next point. I look for to see if somebody is actually using their body properly relative to the place that they're in when they first come see me. So if somebody's a beginner, they're heel striking because they're a beginner, most likely. If they're heel striking and they are not a beginner, it's because they just got used to it. So it's like in the very beginning, I'm not going to overemphasize on it. I will tell them that that's something that we want to work on. But if they're more intermediate, advanced, they've been there for a while. It's like, okay, like this is, you are being slowed down. When somebody's heel striking, they are constantly braking, essentially. Even if it's partial, tiny, tiny, tiny bits. I won't get into ground contact time and rate of force development. That's way out of the scope of this specific video. But you're essentially, how long you're on the ground goes up, and you don't necessarily want that, if you will. And the reason why I say it that way is because, well, there's not a perfect amount of time. Yeah, there'll be ranges. I'll give that another video, but I'm not going to get into that. So, with that said, once I'm like looking into somebody, I'm looking at their injury history, their goals. I just referenced like the beginner versus like intermediate, advanced type of thing. Their weekly mileage. So like, let's say you're only running 10, 12 miles a week. This heel strike thing isn't my main thing to focus on right away, because that might go away from actually increasing their mileage. Their efficiency will go up, at least aerobically, just by running more. And then oftentimes you get just a little bit faster, and then therefore your ground contact time goes down a little bit. And then, not always, because this is a lot of patterning, but oftentimes over the course of a couple of years, somebody's getting faster and faster. They're not heel striking as much in a lot of cases. It's not an absolute by any means. So anyway, those are some of the main, honestly, I'm being very simplistic with it, because you don't want to overthink it. You don't want to sit there and look at somebody's like kind of arm carriage and then immediately go, okay, hey, we need to fix that. I'll show them drills, A, B, C skips, some plyometrics, things that can help their efficiency and produce more power, because ultimately we want to have a strong foundation aerobically and physically so that we can increase our power output per step, yada, yada. When doing those things and training those things, the likelihood that your efficiency goes up physically, like in your running form, is pretty high. It's just, we'll then be able to kind of look back at the first videos I take of you, see what's actually happened from that point forward. And that's really the main ways I go about it. The injury history thing, though, I'll emphasize again, that is a really important point, because if there's a consistency, not necessarily on both sides, this is where the pronation thing can come in, or even the knee knocking. If there's no injuries and they're actually running a decent amount, 20, 25, 30 miles a week, let's say, they've done a few races, and there's not injuries, you don't want to necessarily fix what's not broken. Sorry. I'll still pay attention to it. I'll still reference it, but I'll also take the person's personality into play. I have many running clients that are really anxious people. I don't mean that rudely. It's just they're really worried about how they look, how their form is, this, that, and the other. I'm not going to tell them negative, negative, negative. Okay, here's a running program. Pay me $250 a month. It's like, I'm going to tell them, hey, here's a couple of things that I want to watch out for. And we're going to use these drills first just to try to increase your efficiency. The strength program that we're going to be on is going to help with this long term. But right now, we just need to focus on you running a little bit more. Let me know how you feel when the volume goes up, and then also intensity at other points. And then maybe we change shoes. I will also look at like wear patterns and stuff when somebody comes in. That can be very telling. Most of the time it's not. So as much, if you have questions, please comment below. There's many things that I could say in this video, but the reasons why I don't chase perfect running form is every runner is built differently. And there is no perfect form. There's just form that can look really good and efficient, but you got to remember when you're watching those pros, some of these people are running 345 miles. 350 miles. They're running 5Ks at an average of, what's four flat? I haven't done this math in a while because I stopped watching pro stuff. But anyway, they're running, let's say, 405 miles. It's like, I'm sorry, that's just, most of them are going to look pretty damn good. When they kick the last 300, 500 meters, they're going to look pretty darn good. And it's easy to go, I need to look like that, but you're running 11-minute pace. And no offense to you, but it's like, you're just not going to look the same. So if you don't have problems, it doesn't mean ignore it forever and just, oh, it doesn't matter. Jeff said it doesn't really matter because I'm not fast. It's like, that's not what I'm saying. It's just pay attention to it. Let's look at the injury history. We'll see if there's correlations as we increase in volume and intensity. And just take small changes, because usually one small change beats big ones. So one step at a time, pun intended, go from there. If you have not seen many videos, I've been posting one of these a day for the last week. I'm going to do it for a full year at least to see what kind of impact I can have on the health and wellness and running community, and some stuff I'll be talking in this channel a lot about longevity. And there you go. Thanks for watching. My name is Jeff Wilson. Like and subscribe. Cheers.